people on YouTube from, it's not only live streaming, the video is online.
Yeah, so we could use that for the editing.
We could,
as well.
yeah, Marcin could get you some of that video, for teasers for other, and as I said, there's, a couple of them that have like, you know, the GMO one has like almost 300 views, so.
Kids talk.
So,
Actually, you haven't met Charlotte. I should introduce you. She's gonna be the addiction speaker on December 10th.
oh, great.
It's nice to meet you.
This is normally, we have 2 spaces that we do the lectures in. And if anyone wants to actually see the lab at Genspace, it's upstairs, but it's much smaller than this, which is why we don't hold the lectures there. We have classes there, but it can only hold about 12 people. So we normally do the lectures either here on the 5th floor, and this is like a shared conference room for the building, or the 6th floor has a really nice space, but they have a rule that we use the space that someone from the stay till the end of the lecture, and a lot of times you can't find anyone who wants to stay because they're architects and they're not necessarily interested in cancer, or I don't know why they wouldn't be. You know, it just depends on how tired people are and whether or not they want to commit to being there. And that space is actually a little problematic in the summer because it doesn't have air conditioning and this space does. And it also is so bright, it's right up in the front by the windows. And in the summertime, at 7 o'clock, you have the setting sun coming through the windows. Although that condo construction across the street can change that.
Oh, really? It's gonna be that high?
There's a huge building going up, sort of, not directly across, but sort of catty-cornered. And then I don't know if you've seen, but behind us, there's a huge building being built right next to the, that new theater, the Shakespeare Theater, the damn Shakespeare Theater. There's a big condo being tower. They're just going up everywhere.
The problem is that they're building in Brooklyn like Manhattan style, so it's gonna lose.
Well, I was part of Brooklyn, they put a huge tower now in front of the Hampton building, which is that big clock tower that used to be the big central thing that you could see it from all over Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And now they've got a freaking residential thing going up right next to it. So when you walk out of Genspace, you can't see it anymore to see it. I always used to go out and see what time it was if I was running for the train and going to the terminal, and now I can't see it anymore. So it's really annoying. Yeah. There's a couple of seats. There's one right here in front, there's one in the back. We can pull in more chairs. Maybe we should actually put a couple, there's chairs out at the table in the kitchen area. Just get a couple more and stick them here. And then everyone else can like sit down on that. We can just start some, I don't know, keep you standing in your condition. I'm just gonna keep teasing you.
Today, the whole day, I was like writing in bed, so I got prepared for this. My feet have the blood flow.
When are you due?
In March,
In March.
at some point, whenever the baby decides, I guess.
I don't know, I don't have kids, but from what people say, it's nice to be, if you're gonna be massively pregnant, it's nice to have it in cooler weather rather than really hot weather.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be working at the bench until the last minute, because if we're sending the paper now, they're gonna get reviews and it's gonna be a race against the time. So I said to my boss, that baby first, this baby second.
I worked my first lab job that I worked in. The who was my direct supervisor in the lab had a baby. And she was working in the lab up until the day that she had a baby. So it's been done. That's what scientists do. We have babies, we die at the bench. There are some people that if you're in a university, there's always some professor emeritus who's like so old that he's like shuffling through the corridors, but he's usually someone really famous. Like maybe he's won a Nobel Prize, or it's always very odd because you sort of look at him and you think, am I going to be that shuffling scientist in another 40 years?
It keeps them young for sure because they are old. Like whenever you worry about what you get exposed to in the lab and then you see these people, you're like, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Are we ready to start? Okay, well, I'm going to give a brief introduction. So this is Genspace. Most of you have been here before. We're a relatively new sort of organization. We're a community lab. And what that means is we open our doors to anyone who wants to use the lab for a project. Our only requirement is that whatever you do, follow certain safety regulations, that it's appropriate for, we have a biosafety level 1 lab, so we can't work with pathogens or, unfortunately, with human cells or vertebrate animals. But we can work with a wide variety of organisms, everything from plants to bacteria to nematodes to yeast. Fungi, and all of those organisms people are working with at Genspace now. The model is kind of like a gym, although I hate that analogy. There's a set price that you pay, it's $100 a month, and your membership gives you access to the lab 24/7, and you can do your own project. If you don't know the biology well enough to do a project, we have people that have volunteered their services as mentors. A lot of people in academia. This is one of the richest cities in the United States for biomedical research. There are a lot of people who are at different levels in their career that still have time to donate time to places like Genspace. And so we try to connect scientists with people that more guidance and projects and stuff like that. And this year, we're happy to announce that we're actually hiring a permanent lab manager who'll be there every weekday from 12 to 8. So that's Will. Say hi. Yay! So Will can help set you up with the basics of molecular biology. So we do have a wide variety of people. There are artists, there are environmentalists, there are scientists, there are students, there are people that are just curious, and they all can do projects in the space. So it's a very vibrant environment, and you meet a lot of really interesting people. So this is part of our talk series. We have a series of talks that revolves around either science or artists who are at the art-science interface. There are a couple of really good talks coming up. One is, if you'd like to say what your talk is about and when.
I'll be speaking on some neurobiology of behavior and addiction and how it relates to sort of everyday life.
So mark your calendars for the 10th, which is in 2 weeks, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we're trying to get, actually in that same week, unfortunately that was the only slot that could do it, on Monday, we're trying to get these people that have, I'm not sure if they won a competition, and this is very embarrassing that I don't know, but they have a Mars environment. They're like architects for Mars. And they love to go out to the general public and gather information about if you were going to be stuck on Mars. I know you want to go to Mars very badly. What would you want? I mean, would you want a gym? Would you want a garden? What would you want if you had to be on Mars, like a one-way ticket?
It's probably going to be a one-way ticket.
Probably going to be a one-way ticket. But there are a lot of people who feel like they actually would sort of enjoy that. So they want your opinion. So we're trying to get them for Monday. But check the website, it's at www.genspace.org, because I'm not sure whether or not they can commit. We also have an open night once a month. We just had one this Monday, so there'll be one in December, but I don't think it's been scheduled yet. Again, check the website. So we are lucky to partner with the KnowScience program at Rockefeller University. We've had several really great speakers, and Simona was telling me about in January. January is the start of a new year. We're going to have even more from the KnowScience organization. And Simona gave a talk last year on cancer. She's a cancer biologist at Rockefeller. And I can't wait to hear what she says this time.
Thank you.
All right.
So I'm really glad to be here. Genspace is always a fun environment. So the first thing I want to say is that in the philosophy of Genspace and KnowScience, you should feel free to interact with me and ask me any question, because I don't want people to get lost or not follow what I'm saying. So if you have any doubt, there is literally no stupid question. I know people just say that, but I think that's also a very scientific philosophy that questions open further inquiries. So to just be inquisitive and make sure you have your facts right is important. So as I said, I work at the Rockefeller University. I'm a postdoctoral fellow there, and I previously did my PhD in Cambridge in cancer biology, in cancer research. And I studied in my undergrad cancer biology. So literally I specialized in cancer throughout my academic studies and my career. And I've been working in a lab on different aspects of the human cells and how they become cancerous for probably the last 10 years. So I feel like me and cancer have reached almost a symbiosis for which I can come to you and tell you the truth about cancer. I know that it sounds ambitious, but let's try to get to that. And I want to spend just 1 minute to introduce this organization called KnowScience. So it's a very young organization. We started it 1 year ago, and we're still like changing things all the time. But basically what we do is we want to educate the general public onto various important topics about science, and we especially target adults. We feel that in New York City there are many programs about children and teenagers which are really valuable, but ultimately the people making choices, be it policy, money, etc., are adults that may have forgotten how valuable science is. And we actually feel that science is valuable in your everyday life. It's like Bertolt saying, I wonder if this works, yes. It is love science, love life. That's one of our mottos. And we believe that understanding